welcome to Operation End Times. I'm your Jedi warrior for Jesus, Ben Ellisted. And today, I'm here to talk about digging in the dirt, especially around the pyramids, my friends. This is your first time to the channel. Hey, God bless you and welcome. May your eyes be open to the truth. I'm going to tell you honestly, my friends, lately I've had so much crazy stuff coming my way. It's hard to figure out what is truth and what isn't. But I'm just going to kind of throw a bunch of stuff out there, man. And we'll see what happens, what sticks. But Peter Gabriel, that was digging in the dirt. Peter Gabriel was born on February 13th. There's that number 13 again in 1950. 50, 51, Area 51, Aquarius, Pharoahs, the royal star, also known as Gabriel's trumpet. I'm gonna throw a whole bunch of stuff out there, so I may not get this all thrown out to where it makes complete sense, but everything that's been coming my way, it's been about sound and a trumpet blast. And if you go look at my tribulation blog, I threw some stuff out there on how electromagnetic waves through water literally programs and creates DNA. And I think what I'm going to give you today is going to tie even more into that. But, it's all about digging in the dirt, man, because, the more you dig, the more crazy stuff that comes up. Once again, I'm going to kind of give a shout out to one of the ones. One of the things he's been throwing out there for quite a while is the hollow earth theory, with Dan or the locust coming up possibly through the North Pole. And the other thing he constantly kind of talks about is how the pyramids, something's buried beneath the pyramids, bound beneath the pyramids. And, Zechariah Stitchin said it was Marduk or Enlil, the Sumerian gods, but it could be the Egyptian gods, Either way, there's some kind of dark force, below the pyramids. So, once again, 51, I'm turning 51. 51 points to a lot of things, in the Bible, verse 51 of, I think, Matthew, God, I'm probably not getting the chapter right, but let's just say it's chapter 17. There's 66 verses, but 51 is where the veil tears. Now, if I got the chapter wrong, I'll correct it. I'll put it in my notes. But, that's kind of what both sides are working towards, the veil tearing. When Jesus died on the cross, the veil tore in the temple. And, from the dark side, they're trying to rise their Kundalini spirit and have it pierce through their heads, pierce through the veil, of their own skulls. But, Aquarius, Pharoahs, the royal star, is known as Gabriel's trumpet. Gabriel's trumpet is a mathematical formula, and it actually represents infinite meeting finite, because it forms a funnel that has infinite volume but finite surface, and there's some crazy math and some problems if you actually research Gabriel's trumpet. There's this mathematical formula that one drop of paint would go forever. Don't ask me to explain it. I'm not a mathematician. But, the trumpet blast is like infinity and finite. The third dimension and the fifth dimension all in some kind of blast. And you may think, what does it all mean? I'm going to tie some things together for you, my friends. So, bear with me. A lot of this stuff I just kind of pulled up. Oh, I'm trying to get my stupid computer to get with it. There we go. But let's see if we can throw some stuff out there, man. Okay. Before we get to the Great Pyramids in Egypt and what might be buried underneath them, I'd like to throw your attention to a map that I've drawn. I'm going to turn the screen back to my computer. I know this is kind of lame, but this is just the way I got to do it for now. This is a map of America, and I drew in some lines, and here's some things just to make note of. This line right here starts in Washington, D.C., at the Washington Monument, and you know, it's at the 39th longitude and the 77th latitude. But if you draw a line from Washington out to Denver, and Denver is at the 39th, is at 39 and 104. And then you keep drawing that line out to San Jose, California, out here to the Rosicrucian Museum. And what all three of these spots have in common is they have obelisks. You know, the Washington Monument, there's one there in Denver, and there's one here in San Jose at the Rosicrucian Museum. But it draws like a water line across the United States at the 39th latitude. And 39 is 13 times 3. You know, so it's some kind of, you know, micro to macro progression of events. You know, in the Bible, the pyramids located at some critical latitude and longitude. I don't have it at the tip of my mind, but also like Mount Hermon is at 33 by 33 degrees, and that's where a lot of people say that the fallen angels descended, and that's why the Masons, you know, it's like the 33 degree that, you know, the whole occult thing is to reach the 33 degree of being a Masonic, of enlightenment. But anyway, look at this. We have a pyramid, man, and it's Phoenix, Oklahoma City, and Denver. And actually, you know, to be fair, the actual cities, instead of Phoenix, it would be Tucson or Tucson, which is just a little bit north of Phoenix, and then Denver, it would be Aurora, which is just pretty much the same spot as Denver. But guess what? It still forms a pyramid, and, you know, all three of these places had satanic rituals. You know, the Oklahoma City bombing, which was Timothy McVeigh when he was 27 years old. That's, you know, 3 cubed. He killed 168 people, injured 800. He did it because of the Waco siege that Bill Clinton did in Waco, Texas, down here. And that happened on April 19th. There's that number, the 19th. That's when David Koresh, you know, and all his 76 people were burned alive inside that house in Waco, Texas. But Timothy McVeigh did his thing on April 19th as well. April 19th, the number 19. Over here in Phoenix, it was actually in Tucson, but that's when this guy Lauer, who was 22 years old, he shot Gab Giffords, and 19 people were injured, 6 died. But once again, Tucson, you know, is at the 32nd latitude by 22 degrees, and Lauer was 22 years old. And, you know, of course we had the Aurora massacre, which was the guy James Holmes, where it was at the Century Theater. And, you know, I was talking in my other videos about how the Fed is going to be 100 years old. So there were, you know, people are looking at the 100-year anniversary. And at Aurora, 12 people were killed, 58 were injured. And James was born on December 13th, which is the date of the 100-year anniversary of the Fed coming up this year, December 13th, 2013. And, you know, is it all a coincidence, my friends? Not really. But what you got here is a pyramid built on occultic, satanic sacrifices. And then down here you got Roswell, Area 51. That's on the 104th longitude with Denver. And 104 is 33 times pi. And, of course, 39 is 13 times 3. But look at that. It forms a pyramid. And what's underneath the pyramid is Roswell, where the aliens landed. Area 51, where our government is top secret. But I tell you what, my friends, if you actually look at this map at Roswell, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. You know, there's something called the bottomless Lakes State Park in Roswell that was established in 1933. And I'll tell you what, 1933 is one of those mystery years because all sorts of crazy stuff happened in 1933, including the birth of my father. That was the year he was born. But in the bottomless lakes, one of the lakes is called the Devil's Inkwell because the water, it's got dark water, and it's on only 0.36 acres, 36, 6 times 6. And its depth is 27 meters, you know, which is 3 cubed. And then there's even a Bitter Lake that's over here in the Bitter Lake State Park as well, which is like a wildlife sanctuary that's been poisoned by a petroleum company in the last year or so. So it's not looking too good. But, you know, it's just mind-blowing, my friends, that below the pyramids are the aliens, the underground tunnels and caves of our government. There's dark water. There's Satan's inkwell, you know, the abyss. Now, this line right here, this is a crazy line, man. This guy did a video today. I will link it into the comments of this video, but it's one of these earthquake dudes, and he showed there was an earthquake in Dallas and in New York, I think yesterday, a 4 point something. But people all along this line here were reporting booming noises. So what he did is he mapped all the towns that said they heard booms, and it was right along this line, which is the new Madrid fault line. And he says there can be no doubt the new Madrid fault line is shifting in a diagonal line, you know, northward towards the Great Lakes, which, you know, is amazing, my friends, because even in Egypt, there's a Great Lake that feeds the Great Pyramid, man, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So could there be, if there was a huge earthquake, you know, and my brother Kurt talks about the second cup of destruction, you know, it would wipe out everybody that's in, like, this zone here. And, you know, could these Great Lakes come gushing forth and do a bunch of flooding? Who knows? But what we do know is down in New Orleans, there's a big old sinkhole. And there's all sorts of crazy sinkholes and stuff going on. So there's a lot of evidence that there's stuff happening geologically across America. And I don't think our government is necessarily being, you know, open and truthful with us. But if you look at it, if everything here shifted that way, it would kind of rip a pit right here where Roswell is, you know. Would something then come out of the dark waters, out of the abyss, you know? Possibly. So anyway, I just wanted to share that map with you. You know, it's kind of mind-blowing that here in the United States we have a literal occultic pyramid across our Midwest that looks a lot like the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, going to the Great Pyramid of Giza, you know, there's all sorts of mind-blowing things about the pyramid. They still don't know who the heck built it. You know, they were geniuses, you know, and all sorts of dimensions are built into the pyramid. You know, the circumference of the earth, the golden ratio, etc., etc., etc. The shafts are aligned with stars. But check this out, man. In 1962, you know, there's that year again, the year I was born. A guy by the name of Ed Kunkel. I think he was a plumber, man, of all things. But he was looking at the Great Pyramid, and he said, man, you know what is going on with that Great Pyramid? Like the king's chambers, the queen's chambers, and there's a chamber underneath the pyramid. He said, you know what? It's a water pump. And he wrote a book called The Pharoahs Pump, and I will link an article where you can get all the information on that. But he did studies and he made models, and there can be no doubt the Great Pyramid was pumping water from the Nile and from a great lake, a lake that was known as Osiris's Lake, the Lake of Osiris, the Great Lake. And here's the crazy stuff, man. There can be no doubt that the Great Pyramid was pumping water, man. But what this guy found out was even more mind-blowing, because he found out that the pump had an acoustic element or nature to it, that the pump made a noise. It made a pulse, a heartbeat, and it could be regulated multiple ways from the pyramid. Kind of like a trumpet, you know, blasting air, you know. And he would even say, like, the compression of the water coming in and going out, it would force the water into a 360 pattern, and there's a whole science to this, you know, and I'm not a scientist, but it was just kind of mind-blowing that the Great Pyramid literally was a machine that had a heartbeat, you know? If you were standing by the pyramid, and he's saying that it's acoustic because the king's chamber is built out of granite, and that's what they use in the acoustic industry to get excellent resonance, you know, with sound. But the pyramid could beat between 60 to 80 beats per minute, according to his calculations. And the shaft that's underneath the pyramid is... It's, what the heck was it? It was 46 feet by 27, you know, 46, that's 23 and 23 chromosomes. There's a shaft for this pump that's 11 feet deep. And what he said is literally, by forcing that the pyramid is built to where there's an acoustic nature, it actually turns to sound, these blasts, and gets funneled up through the queen's and the king's chamber and out the air holes at the top, and that the sound goes both vertical and goes up and down, and that there was all the evidence is that there was water. There was a moat around the pyramid, and there was water underneath the pyramid that was being drawn from the Nile and the Lake of Osiris. But he said literally the pyramid would sing. Can you believe that? The pyramid would sing. And he said when it would sing, it would create electricity in the atmosphere, you know. And, you know, I just think that's just completely mind-blowing, my friends. And I haven't really taken it much farther than that, but I'm going to ponder it all and put more pieces together. But I kind of had to just throw that all out there. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at, my friends, is 2013 is progressing. A lot of us are digging in the dirt, looking for the final pieces, the final clues to put together what is about to unfold, my friends. So, you know, stay with the channel, Operation End Times. I'm your Jedi Warrior for Jesus. And I'm going to continue to dig in the dirt, man. I don't care where the truth leads me. I will dig it up and share it with you, my friends. All right. God bless y'all.